Now that we're done with how to include jQuery on our shopping cart, what we need to do next is we are going to do already our form field validation. Okay. So uh, this is actually a way for us to check if the value, if a form has a value or not. We won't be checking what value is currently inside our form. So let's say, for example, what do I mean by that? So let's say, for example, we will be requiring uh, the password length should be 6 characters or less, or more. We'll just be checking if there's a value or not. Okay. So let's try to use this one, because let me just try to delete. Now, we will be using also our identifier, which is this one. Okay. So we have your ID, email address. So let's try to create a variable here. Okay. In order for you to create a variable in JavaScript, what you need to do is you need to use var. Then let's make it email. Then dollar. Okay. Hashtag. Then email address. Then val. Okay. That's how you would get this. Actually refers to your ID, which with this value with this name, so email address. Then in order for you to access the value entered onto your form, you need to use this function, that val. Okay. Okay. So let me just try to show you what I mean. So um, alert email. Okay. Going back here. So let's say test@email.com. Login. So we have here test.email.com. That's how you would check the value. Okay. Otherwise, okay, there's no value whatsoever. Okay, that's how you would check. Now this is just a end user validation. We will also be doing duplicate email validation once we go to our PHP process. Okay. So let's try to create certain variables, var also. Then we have here password, dollar, um, password.val. Okay. Now, if email is null or email is empty, what we can do is we can just alert. Okay. Maybe we can try to do to create a variable here. Okay, so to call this one variable alert notice. Okay, we'll have the value uh, fields with marked with our required fields. Okay, let's try to check. Okay, let's try to check first if it's going to work with this particular method. Okay, we need to go back here. Login. Okay, fields marked with asterisks are required fields. Okay, so it's working. Uh, we can also do something like dollar hashtag email address dot focus. Now, basically, focus is, okay, let me just try to go back to our, okay. Notice by the way that, okay, wait to click login, that your insertion point focuses on the field that has no value on it. So let's just try to reload. Notice that there's no insertion point yet on your email address field, but if I were to click login, then click OK, there's already an insertion point. So that's the value of, that's the purpose of focus. Okay, then else if password equals null, or let's try to copy this one and this one also. First name, okay. Next is we have our last name. No, we don't need this one, by the way. So I try to delete this part. We can just we'll just try to leave that one as is, because we will need that later when you go to Ajax. Okay, so let's try it out this time. Go back here, reload the page, mark. Okay, mark with answers are card fields. We decide to put test at email.com. Password 123 for first name AA. Okay. Now notice by the way that it doesn't have any value. Okay. Now another thing that you've noticed is that password can be actually read here. So let's try to change this one into our password field. Okay, let's try to go back to our form here on top. Then we'll be using, instead of text, this one, let's try to change this one into password. Okay, try to save, go back to our okay, try to check email at test.com, then password, password. Okay, I notice by the way it's already hidden. So first name, then last name, contact number 123, then that's it. So it doesn't do anything yet as of the moment. So to go back here, go back to our page and try to add else. Okay, so this is where we will be processing our form, or this is where we'll be processing our the values that we have entered into our form. Okay. Now, once we're done with this part, we'll again go back to our index to also do the same thing with our login form. So our next goal, by the way, is for us to create a PHP file to process the registration, and also at the same time also to process also the login of the user.